Welcome! Today, we're diving into what many believe is the next great technological frontier. We'll be breaking down a very specific strategy for investing in the powerful convergence of two game-changing fields, quantum computing and artificial intelligence.
Okay, so let's get the fundamentals down first. The computers we use every day, they think in bits, which are basically just on or off switches, a 0 or a 1. Simple. But quantum computers, they use something totally different called qubits. A good way to think about this is, a qubit isn't a light switch. It's more like a dimmer dial. Because of a wild principle called superposition, it can be a 0, a 1, or kind of both at the exact same time. And it's that ability to explore tons of possibilities at once that gives them such incredible, almost unimaginable computational power.
And this quote you're seeing, it really gets to the very heart of the investment idea here. We are, quite possibly, standing at the very beginning of a brand new computing paradigm. Think back to the dawn of personal computing. Nobody could have possibly predicted iPhones or streaming services, but you could just feel that the potential for disruption was immense. That's really the mental model we should use for this opportunity.
So that leads to the big question for any investor, right? How in the world do you get targeted exposure to an industry that's this new? Well, the vehicle we're going to analyze today is the Defiance Quantum ETF, and its ticker symbol is QTUM. Now, it's really important to understand how this ETF actually works. QTUM is not some actively managed fund where a portfolio manager is picking stocks based on a hunch. Nope. It's a passive, rules-based ETF. It's built to simply and transparently track a very specific index, the Blue Star Quantum Computing and Machine Learning Index. This gives you a really clear, systematic way to invest in this whole theme. And here's what I think is so smart about this approach. The index that this fund tracks is incredibly broad. It isn't just trying to bet on the one company that might build the one perfect quantum computer. Instead, it captures the entire ecosystem. You've got the hardware companies building the machines, the companies making the essential superconducting materials, right down to the firms creating the AI chips and the big data software that's going to run on all this new tech. It's the whole shebang. Okay, so how does that big picture strategy actually look when you pop the hood on the fund's portfolio? Let's take a look at the kinds of companies you're actually investing in, and of course the all-important question, how has it performed? So first off, you get exposure to that foundational layer. You've got a company like Tower Semiconductor, which makes the specialized chips and components that are absolutely vital for building both quantum systems and advanced AI. This is that classic picks and shovels part of the investment play.
But the fund also holds companies that are going to be the end users, the customers, and developers of these quantum applications. Think about it. The incredibly complex simulation and optimization problems you see in defense and aerospace, well, those are exactly the kinds of problems that quantum computing is poised to completely revolutionize. And this is a great example of another angle, the infrastructure piece. For a quantum future to even happen, we're going to need extremely sophisticated and secure networks to connect all these powerful machines. So companies like Nokia are positioned to build out that critical infrastructure.
So when you look at the top holdings, you can really see that diverse, ecosystem-focused strategy in action. You've got semiconductor companies right there next to industrial giants. But what's really crucial to notice is that no single company totally dominates the fund. The top holding is under 2%, which is great because it helps spread out that single stock risk.
All right, so what has the growth story actually looked like? This number, 22.26%, that's the average annual return of the fund based on market price since it launched back in September of 2018. It's a pretty compelling number that definitely shows the market's early excitement for this theme.
Now, it is so important to put this performance in context. While those returns are strong, you have to remember that QTU is a very specific, targeted, thematic fund. It's not trying to be a general tech fund that just holds a bunch of the big mega-cap names. It's designed to give you very focused exposure to this one niche, emerging sector.
And looking at the data across these different time horizons, you can see a pretty consistent growth narrative. That one-year return is especially strong, in over 45%. But, and this is absolutely critical, with any investment, and especially one in a volatile, new sector like this one, we have to be crystal clear that past performance is never a guarantee of future results.
Okay, now for a crucial part of our due diligence. We have to talk transparently about the risks. Investing in something so forward-looking, so specialized, well, it definitely comes with its own unique set of challenges and, yes, volatility.
So let's be very direct about the unique risks that come with this territory. This is not your grandfather's traditional value investment. You should think of it as a strategic allocation to a high-growth sector, which by definition means it could be a high-volatility sector.
Here are the key risks you've got to have on your radar. First, just like any equity fund, it's possible to lose principal. Second, because it's so tightly focused on one theme, it's technically considered non-diversified, which means its performance is very closely tied to the fate of this one specific sector. Third, the technology itself could get disrupted by some new discovery tomorrow. And maybe the most important thing to remember, you have to be realistic about the timeline. The real payoff from huge commercial quantum applications, that's still uncertain. This has to be seen as a long-term play.
So, to wrap it all up, QTM really acts as a liquid and transparent way for investors who understand the risks, to position a piece of their portfolio for what could be the next massive wave of technological disruption. It basically gives you a single trade solution to get access to this entire quantum and AI ecosystem.
And so we'll just leave you with that forward-looking thought. The answer to that question, whatever it may be, is the fundamental reason to consider an allocation to this space. And frankly, it's what makes this technological frontier so incredibly compelling to watch.